their signal caller in his second year in the NFL now.
Now, the meeting we had with him this week, that's one of the briefer ones we've ever had, isn't it?
He wasn't too happy after last week.
Not happy. Really determined to play a whole lot better, and he really can't play a whole lot worse. He's got to go out and show the team that the goods that he exhibited early are still there. Otherwise, he could lose the confidence that they have in him.
And hoping to get rid of that interception bug. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Howell, first play, going to throw it. He gets it to Thomas. Only a couple for him there on the game's first play, and it's 2nd down.
Yeah, I got to.
The first carry for the Memphis man, Antonio Gibson. Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37. This defense for the Jets, they were very strong last week in that win over Cleveland.
Yeah, what stood out to me on tape, the way they were flying to the football. So that tells me that they've got all their assignments down, and they're playing with extreme confidence.
3rd play of this opening drive as they're looking at a 3rd and 3. They'll run with Gibson. And he's taken down at the 43, but not before picking up the first. It'll go as a gain of 6 that time, and it moves the chains as well. With a play fake, and now here's how to throw it. There's McLaurin. What a catch. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. That one goes for 30 yards.
Brandon, we've both been around the game long enough that we know that in pregame, defenses are pretty amped up, aren't they? I mean, they're pounding lockers, and they can't wait to get out there. But when you hit them with some big pass plays early, it takes the starch right out of them.
Flushed out right. Going to throw deep for the end zone. And it'll be intercepted. Sauce Gardner picks it off. And the Jets are going to get the football here as they force the INT on the game's opening drive.
Partner, have you ever heard the story of Icarus in mythology? That's the guy who flew too close to the sun and had his wings melted. That was our guy right there, and keeps pressing it and pressing it. Finally, on that throw, he paid the price with that turnover.
Now he's going to swing this one out to his running back. And they'll get 8 out of this before being stopped at the 28.
And a really nice play call there to start the drive, especially if you're a team that has a little bit of a reputation for throwing it downfield. You come out and you think maybe you
That's what I want to drink every day with you.
And they did.
That's what I want to drink every day with you.
And that time worked well for a solid game.
We're taking a look at Hall's numbers from
But it's them in there, and Tim don't know how to handle shit.
86 yards.
Like I told him, when you pretending to know what you're doing,
To see if they decide to back him off a little bit. Personally, I handed to him 20 plus
and now you starting to be exposed, and the person's supposed to have your back, and you so worried about protecting ain't got your back, and then the nigga that got your back, you don't got their back. Now you starting to see what it's like on that lonely ass island by your fucking self.
Okay, I'm not sure you could actually draw a better pass rush than that one right there. There's nowhere to go outside. He had to keep backing up and backing up and backing up. Eventually dropped for a huge loss.
That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go. To throw is Wilson. He finds Corey Davis. And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a 3rd down. They'll come to the line here needing 9 yards to pick up the first. On 3rd down, Wilson. And able to catch it on the left sideline, but they're going to rule him out of bounds. So it'll be incomplete. Certainly one they'd like to have back as it brings up 4th down. On is the punter man as he boots this one away. Fielded just inside the 30. Well, on that punt, we've got a man shaken up. Well, now they're going to come out and take a look at this injury, and we'll be back in a moment. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards. Well, no matter your experience level as a quarterback, you throw an interception on that first drive, maybe a little shaken up. Nice response there to get their first down.
I think you make an excellent point. I don't care who you are. You throw an interception, it's going to get to you a little bit. But the ones that we've seen that are the best, you never notice it. They don't come to the bench, throw their helmets, they don't do any of that. They just go back out the next drive and act like it never happened. And that's what we're seeing
crazy,
here.
locking it up.
To throw on 2nd and 10, Powell. And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down. And once more, Howell back to the air.
That was another interception.
Once it go downhill, it's hard to get back on track.
Somebody outside?
No. Why?
You just hear that? What's that? He looked too like. Okay.
Like I said, when you emotional about everything you do and you insecure about your shit, and your communication skills suck, like I said, it's different. Everybody think because you a cop, you got leader skills. Or you in the military, you got leader skills. If you always was a follower, and somebody always told you what to do and when to do it, you're not a leader. It's hard for you to be a leader.
Sergeant or guard or something, you getting told.
Seems like we were just starting training camp, but here we are in October, and off we go on EA Sports. From the 10. A dangerous return man showing it here.
Yeah, he got people skills. People skills only carry you so far.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
That's not people skills. That's knowing how to lie. And procrastinate and push it off.
Now Hall to start the drive. And he'll work this one up to about the 38. We're taking a look at Hall's numbers from a week ago. 20 carries, 86 yards.
And I'm eager to see how they deploy him in this game. Last week, a heavy workload. Do they decide to bring that down a little bit and try and keep him fresh? Or do they say, guess what? He's locked in. Keep handing him the football.
From the 38, Wilson. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
One thing that you're going to see from this offense is that they love the matchup with their wide receivers against this secondary. That one wasn't successful, but don't expect them to back away from attacking all game long.
Wilson now to throw on 3rd down. Got an open man, that's C.J. Uzomah. And he is going to have a Jets first down, and he was able to get it by plenty. A gain of 8 on 3rd and 3.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. Anthony Barr comes rumbling in for the sack. Well, he shot in, CD, like he was out of a cannon from that linebacker position. And even though they had a running back in the backfield, no one could stop him.
Well, you certainly diagnosed that play perfectly because as fast as he got into the backfield, you're exactly right. The running back had no shot to get over and try and protect his quarterback, and a sack resulted.
A good pickup there, 13 yards as they get closer for 3rd down. And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively, 6 DBs in the game. From the gun, it's Wilson. Well, the catch is made here by Tyler Lockett. And they're going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at Washington's 26. That third down conversion good for 23. On first down, Wilson. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
They're bringing a lot of pressure here already in the first quarter. Already sacked him once. Now they get in there and knock another one away. You think maybe that tuck rule being gone makes defenses a lot bolder?
Yes, indeed. That time, lucky that the arm was going forward. Incomplete pass. And this is intercepted, but they'll say out of bounds. So very close to a turnover there in the end zone.
They haven't been able to stop them so far this series, but getting a nice little stand from their defense now.
This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. Now it's Wilson. And that will be incomplete.
They converted twice on 3rd down that drive already, but couldn't make it a 3rd. We always talk about in-game adjustments. How about what the defense did there, able to shut them down on that attempt?
Santos' kick is up and through, and the Jets hit the board first. It's 3-0. Weather like this, always treacherous for kickers. A good sign early, though, as he's able to put that one through.
And you remember him right before the kick stomping around his area to make sure that things were going to hold for his plant foot, and it did.
First and 10 here for Hal and the Commanders at their 25-yard line. Here's Gibson to start the drive. And a short pickup to about the 27. It'll be 2nd down. The numbers on the ground for Gibson a week ago. North of 100 yards, the 2 scores. And, you know, you got to give a lot of credit to the O-line. We talked a lot about him, but offensive line was good, too.
They're obviously in sync with each other, whether it's zone blocking, power running game, no matter what. He understands how to read them and find the creases that they provide.
And looking for McLaurin, but this is intercepted. Picked off by Bryce Hall. And the Jets are going to take possession of the football. CD, I know it's just his 2nd year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, 2nd year, as you noted, on-the-job training. So he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
They give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, they certainly got dented with that first down run. So now they've got to be back on their heels a little bit as a defense.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. Wilson. Quick hitter here, it's complete. Touchdown! C.J. Uzomah. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Jets are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And the lead grows to 10-0. So an early 10-0 lead for them now as they kick it away. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. The Commanders going to retake the field for drive number 2. And they're in an early hole. The first drive, they threw the interception. That led to a touchdown. So decent-sized deficit early on.
It is, but I think you hit the key words, early on. So they have to decide, do we even need to change game plan? Or do we just need to execute better and try and get back in this game?
A gain of 3, 2nd down. This defense for the Jets, they were very strong last week in that win over Cleveland.
Yeah, they gave up 17 points, but that's what you would consider a goal for each and every defense, because if you give up 17 points a game all year long, you're thinking you're going to be a playoff team because you expect your offense to score more than that. That's what you're looking for. Room to improve, of course, but I have to say a very solid performance.
A huge play there for Washington. 52 yards. Excellent execution, and now they're set up nicely.
Are they ever? Red zone? I wonder what the next play call is going to be, because after a big play like that, a lot of teams like to use the momentum to launch another one.
And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. If you start assessing what went wrong last week, Charles, in their loss, had nothing to do with the ground game. They ran it well.
And you also have to say to yourself as a team, don't go away from what worked. That's not the reason the game was lost. Running the football over time, when you do it consistently, usually translates into wins.
And they're open to do it consistently here. Call that a loss of a yard, and things get a little more difficult here. 3rd and 5.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
And he finds McLaurin. And the Commanders are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points.
And this is an offense in need of getting a few good things to happen. Here's one right here. They got their share of struggles in key moments, but that's a nice throw and nice work after the throw. And they're set up now with a 1st and goal.
They'll run with Gibson. And he will take
him over there.
Touchdown, Commanders. Antonio Gibson with his 6th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Commanders have cut it back within a score. Extra point by Sly is up and good. And that'll cut it to 3 at 10-7. So that drives 6 plays, 75 yards. And it results in a 4-yard touchdown run. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. Now this thing gets marked where it went out of bounds, so they're going to have really good starting field position near midfield. Well, you don't see that often. He just mishit it, and it goes out of bounds.
Well, I know sitting up here, and I'm looking at you, and you're looking at me, and I know we're both thinking the same thing. Isn't it easy enough to keep it between the sidelines? Because unless you're intentionally doing it for some reason, well, that's a costly mishit, and now you put your team in a bad spot.
Open man is Uzama. And they're going to get this to about the 44-yard line. It'll go as a gain of 11 and a Jets 1st down. 10-7 our score after 1 right here on EA Sports. Throwing now, Wilson on 1st down. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
You can tell they wanted to get that ball downfield. They had nothing working in the secondary, so he dropped it off to the running back. That one ended up incomplete.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Throwing is Wilson. And now the ball's out. Fumble near midfield. And they take over. They'll set up shop at the 46-yard line. And a defensive-minded coach loves to turn up the heat, turns it up there, it pays off.
And back in the good old days, those defensive-minded coaches just talked about intimidating teams, using force, right, beating them to the punch. In this case, they're talking about creating turnovers. That's all they preach, all game long, all practice long, every meeting. Get the football. That's what they want.
And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. 23 yards on the play. On 1st and 10, it's Gibson. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
Did you eat this? Your ass gonna be sick, and guess what? Shit. And today, but I'm not getting close.
On 2nd down, here's Gibson again. And he'll get it here to the 10-yard line. 9 yards on the play there, and it'll set him up 1st and goal.
Even though they gave up more than they wanted to on that play, it actually illustrates how well they bottled him up throughout the game because that was his longest run of this contest.
They'll run with Robinson. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Commanders. Brian Robinson Jr. A 10-yard touchdown
man.
run. And the Commanders have moved out in front. And there the counter play proves successful for the touchdown. What typically makes a counter play in general successful, Charles?
Well, what you're trying to do, Brandon, is to get the team moving in one direction, meaning the defense. Get them going in one direction and then wall them off with your blocking and bring it back in the other direction. That way, you don't actually have to punish them with your blocking. You just position them. And if you have any kind of a good back, he'll take full advantage of it and gain good yardage.
But you went to it?
I tried.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Tyler Lockett trotting onto the field, getting set for this next drive. There's a lot of talk in training camp about him getting off to a hot start this year, saying that they needed that. Well, he's done it through the first month.
It kind of reminds me of one of those great musical groups where one person has their name in front and they have the backups.
That's why.
Right? He's the guy out front because the backups, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But we're going to the headliner each and every time. And that's not easily done because you know what the defense...
That shit was basically over by 6-1.
He's at the 30. And all the way down to the 24-yard line. 62 yards for him on the ground so far tonight as he has been terrific in this first half. A wet track like this, I don't know if it helps anybody, but it probably helps the offensive player running the ball more than the defense.
And while they're doing that, there's also the matter of focus. Not letting the elements get in the way of still doing everything you're supposed to do. Although you do think to yourself, I've got to hold it a little bit tighter and be more careful with my footing.
He was careful, got a big run out of it. So another incompletion there. He's hitting on fewer than half his pass attempts in this one, and that is not a winning formula.
Yes, let's make sure we give a little bit of credit to the defense here. They've given him a lot to think about, a lot of different looks.
And he's going to be taken down here. A sack back at the 32. Chase Young. That is now 2 sacks for him here in this first half. These sacks now, they're starting to pile up, Charles, and that front seven defensively, they've had their way with this offensive line.
And I think at this stage, we have to start thinking about different play calls. We've got to start helping this quarterback out because the entire game he's been under siege. I don't care what the down and distance. They've got to get the ball in his hands a lot quicker.
So on 4th down, on comes the Jets kicker, Cairo Santos. He was true on his first. This a tough one from 49 yards away. I don't think this will even, nope, it doesn't even get there. Well short, and instead of tying it up, they'll remain down by 3.
Now, if this was a clear day in September, I'd say this is well within his range. I'd feel very confident about this kick, but let's be honest about it. In these elements, the difficulty level gets ratcheted up by at least a factor of 5.
Here comes Antonio Gibson as he's set for another drive. First month of the season, those numbers pretty solid. Does he continue that?
I think so, because when you come out of the gate this strong, that means that you have planned for it and you like the results that you're getting. So I wouldn't have any doubt that the head coach, offensive coordinator actually called him in and said, look, you're our guy, okay? We're going to continue to stick with this as long as we're winning games. You ready for the challenge? And then they presented it to the rest of the team. And I think we'll see plenty of that as the season moves on.
And I'm sure he said challenge accepted. On 2nd down, a run with Gibson. A strong running there as he's across midfield and down to the 49. It's a first down for Washington on a pickup of 11. Although his reputation as a speedy runner precedes him, it's always fun to watch him work.
It is eye-opening, isn't it? Because when you see him get the ball and just go, in addition to that speed, it helps out his blockers. They don't have to hold blocks for long because he's just going to speed right past them.
25 yards that time.
Well, coaches always talk about finding balance on offense. I don't think you can get much more balance than this. Big-time run, big-time pass.
A 1-2 combination. Looked pretty good.
How about that? Let's see if they can continue to take that kind of a punch, though.
And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2. Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another first down.
Good strong throw and catch right there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it. And
he gets halfway there, down to the 1-yard line. Only a yard on the keeper, and it'll be second down.
But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
Another shot from the one on second and goal. They'll try to run with Gibson. And the avenue collapsed for him as he's going to be held up short of the goal line. They hold him again, and now all of a sudden it's third and goal at the one. This Jet defense so far standing tall. They need another stop now, third and goal. They'll try and run. This is Robinson. And that one going nowhere from the start as he's met in the backfield and goes backwards. Field goal unit and Joey Sly now. This is less than an extra point, just a 19-yard attempt. Sly able to put this one through. And that extends their advantage to 6. It's 16-10. So they're able to end that drive with 3 points in this one-possession ball game. And ideally, you want to end every drive with points. Most quarterbacks would tell you, let's end it with a kick, right? A PAT, that's number 1. Field goal you'll take. Punts, you really don't want to do that. In this case, they'll take the field goal and get prepared for the rest of the game. And now out come the Jets. And looking at this situation, Charles, you got more than a minute. You've got all 3 timeouts. Probably no need to play this safe. So what you're saying is that we're doing a little bit of a mind meld here, aren't we? Because I'm thinking along the same lines as you. This amount of time, don't be compelled to play it too safe. This is a chance to get points on the board. Press it a little bit. Yeah, especially since a touchdown here gets you the lead. To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion. Meanwhile, Wilson's throw into the hands of Lockett. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4. In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. On 3rd down, here's Hall. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Now the Jets going to use the second of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. They'll throw on first down with Wilson. This pass out wide to Hall. And that's good for a gain of 6, and that'll make it second down. They go play action now. Wilson. And that is going to be pulled in one-handed. Wow. A gain there of 30 big ones.
Go. Get over here.
One-handed catch, that's one thing, but with the defender right there, that was a heck of a play.
It used to be that one-handed catch was instinctive in a game. Now it's a practiced move. They work on it before, after, during practice sessions. It becomes part of their repertoire, and it pays off.
Wilson's throw going to be caught by Davis. And he'll head out of bounds inside the 10, marking down at the 9. That's over 40 yards of movement with those last 2 plays.
How about the way they're moving the ball down the field? They had a big play a moment ago, followed it up with another nice one here, and before you know it, they're already looking at 1st and goal.
Santos' kick is up and through, and the lead is back down to 3 here at 16-13. Well, in a close game like this, obviously you want the touchdown, but certainly they will take the 3.
And they'll be okay with that, but let's throw a little credit to the defense as well. I'm just glad this doesn't come down to a debate, right? Which side won, partner? Because the defense, hey, we didn't give up the touchdown. The offense, hey, we put 3 on the board. Either way you look at it, I think both sides gained something out of that drive.
So we've hit halftime. Just a field goal separating these two teams at the break. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome in, everyone, to our EA Sports Halftime Report. Let's get you caught up on what's going on around the NFL. Next, we head off to check out another game. And you can see they are scoreless as they play the second quarter. Lastly, let's check on one final game for you. And you can see they are scoreless as they play the second quarter. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. This one taken just inside the 10. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29. So here is Washington now to take over. They're looking to bounce back following the loss to Miami a week ago.
Get over there and sit down.
Right now as they come up with a 1st and 10.
I don't want you near here. Because if you knock over my drink, I'm going to be pissed.
Second half starts with a run by Gibson. And down right around the 32-yard line, 4 yards on the pickup.
I feel like I could see what he was thinking on that carry. Wanted to follow that big tackle through the hole. Ended up only getting 4 yards on the carry. I think he had designs on that one being bigger.
On second down, here's Gibson again. And he'll push forward for a couple to the 34.
You know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. The Jets will bring in a nickel set as they try to stop this third down. Powell, he'll look to throw it. And this is going to be incomplete. Well, the other day they told us when we've got 3rd and 5 or less, we have to be able to convert. And I guess every team would say that, Charles, but an opportunity missed there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point. And they liked some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them, unable to do so on that play.
Fourth down, Howell. Off to Thomas on the left side. Able to break away. They stop him a few yards shy. Boy, a curious decision to go for it. Doesn't pan out. And the Jets are going to get the football here in great field position.
By me.
On 1st and 10, it's Hall. And he'll be brought down on the 30-yard line after a gain of 6.
Hey, it's not the most spectacular play, but I think most teams would take that every single time for the first play of a drive. Begin the series with positive yardage and set yourself up for a very manageable second down.
From the 30 on second down, Wilson. They'll lock it with a grab over the middle. And he'll be marked down right at the 20-yard line.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time you wait for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. They'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
And they have just not been able to block him at all throughout this game. Seems like every other play, He's doing something in the backfield. Already got 2 sacks. And now here's a tackle behind the line.
Looking at a 2nd and 11 now after the loss. Wilson. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively. And now it brings up 3rd down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. And this is intercepted. He was trying to get it to Davis. Picked up by Jamin Davis. And now off to the races down the right side. And he will bring this one back. An interception return for a Commanders touchdown. Well, Charles, just some visibly frustrated players and coaches on that sideline right now because those halftime adjustments didn't work. The turnover problems continuing here in the 2nd half, and the defense now sitting pretty comfortably as a result of that pick 6.
Hey, that's a great observation, too, Brandon, because they did make adjustments at halftime. But how about this other group staying a step ahead despite whatever happened in that other locker room? No surprise they're leading, and it's appropriate that those defenders got to add to the lead directly.
And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. The New York set to take the field. Now remember, they were just out here a moment ago through the pick 6, so we'll see if they can take better care of the football this go around.
And sometimes, partner, I think it's almost better that you just throw the pick 6 and you come right back out on the field. You're not over on the sidelines dwelling for very long. You're not hearing everyone say, hey, you'll get them next time. Hey, don't worry about it. All that stuff just goes right out the window. You're right back out on the field with a chance to atone. And this dominant defensive performance continued on that play. This poor quarterback has now received the protection he needs and has had to pick himself up off the turf far too often.
Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing 2nd and a bundle. On 2nd down, a run with Hall. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. Just a 1-yard loss that time, but that's not what they needed. Now they're dealing with a 3rd and long.
If these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they got to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He gets it underneath to Hall. And a good job defensively. They stop him short of the 1st at the 32. It'll be a pickup of 13, but it'll still lead to a 4th down. Here's the Jets punter now. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. And he was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. And this will be down just on the other side of midfield. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. 1st and 10 here for Hal and the Commanders. On their side of midfield at the 47. Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
But he'll definitely say that that's one he should have held on to. But when you're playing in elements like this, sometimes those bullet passes, those ones with a little bit of pace on them, they can be difficult to hold on to.
2nd down and a run by Robinson. And a solid run here as he'll pick his way down to the 42-yard line. It's a 1st down for Washington on a pickup of 11.
Well, as we've learned over the years, just because a guy plays left tackle doesn't mean he doesn't have run blocking abilities, and we just saw it there. Controlled the line of scrimmage, created a big gain.
That's kind of a bonus. He's there to protect that high value that you have back under center, but he creates space in the run game.
Yeah, not only can he dance, he can mash, too.
And they're going to get this down to about the 37. Here's 2nd and 5 now from the 37. A give running right, Gibson. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. Now they're going to be dealing with a 3rd and 7. Is that one officially a loss of 1?
I'll tell you what, this defense hasn't played its best, but they're still right in this football game. And if they keep making plays just like that, they're going to give their offense a chance.
And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. Last last play, they got stuffed at the line. Different story here, over 20 yards.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing, because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the third quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
1 quarter remains here on a Sunday night. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports.
Now here's a little touch pass as they tap it quickly to their receiver. A nice play design there with the touch pass. Looked good at the start, but bottom line, the defense was ready.
And they did a nice job scouting, didn't they? Not just scouting, but now executing once they saw the play for real after having worked on it all week in practice. They drilled on the play, then they drilled him.
The offense on third down tonight, they've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 7.
Powell throwing on third down here.
And that is caught. Touchdown, Washington. A great play there with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Commanders look like they're going to get back in the win column as they extend their lead here in this 4th quarter. Now Joey Sly for the point after. And that'll make this a 3-score game as the lead moves to 17. So that drive takes him down the field in 8 plays. And the result, a touchdown for Washington. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
Takes it at the 7. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. New York ready to go again offensively. And Charles, a very uninspired effort. The last time we saw them out there was a quick 3-and-out, then they punted the football.
Yeah, and you never want to get stopped so soundly during a series, but what would be even worse now is letting it happen again right here. They've got to get going.
Now Wilson on first down. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 29. Now it's Wilson fighting to stay upright. And that'll fall incomplete. He was hit just as he let that go. And now it's 3rd down.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Here's Wilson.
Oh, the Commanders are going to get there as he's taken down. But Darian Mathis burying him for the sack.
Guys with his talent in the pocket aren't supposed to be getting hit like this, and you know an intense conversation with the offensive line is going to occur after this one. Might not be from him, but the offensive line coach will have plenty to say about this game.
Here we go. It's Wilson on 4th down. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Jets try it, but the 4th down play doesn't work. And that will force a turnover on downs. Well, at this stage of the game in the second half, down 3 scores, I guess they felt like they needed to push.
And let's face it, with this deficit, if they give up another score here after they didn't get it, does it really matter?
Right.
It really doesn't. They had to go and try and make something happen if they had any chance of winning this game. They're certainly not letting up on the pressure in this one, and oftentimes you hear this expression, all gas, no break from defenses. But in this case, it's the offense still throwing the football up big in the 4th quarter.
And not much. Maybe a yard down to the 23.
And Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts.
That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. And the Jets D, they call on a couple extra defensive backs on 3rd. forced out to his left. Powell sliding down, and he picks up the first on that play. Opted to run for it. The decision a good one, picking up the first, getting 14 yards on the scramble.
It certainly appears that he's been able to get a read on how they wanted to contain him in this game. He's seen some places where he can beat them in big spots, and right there, he slides in with ease for the first down.
Powell to the air on 1st and 10.
Caught on a slant.
Touchdown, Washington.
A great effort there. With 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game, as his guys have opened up a very comfortable lead.
Extra point by Sly is up and good.
And the lead is now 24. So that drive, 4 plays.
And it was polished off by a Washington touchdown.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
This one taken just inside the 10.
Oh, good-looking return set up here.
And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30, up to the 33.
And New York set to take the field.
Charles, we know that this offense is aggressive. We saw that last drive. They went for it on 4th down, didn't get it. Then they give up the touchdown. So now you feel like they really need to respond here.
They certainly do, but let's face it. Sometimes when you take that...
Now this is intercepted. He was trying to get it to Davis.
Picked off by Cole Holcomb. And the Commanders are going to take possession of the football.
Another solid game-changing play for this defense for the interception. And at this point, though, I don't know that it's game-changing. I mean, they've got this one in firm control.
And you always hear about, you know, those stories about someone left their game plan behind and maybe you benefit from it. I'm not going to say that that happened, but they certainly have appeared on defense to be a step ahead this entire game. Guys are always in the right spot in order to make a play.
The offense has had its moments, too.
Well, 4th quarter with a 3-score lead here, Charles, but they're still going back to the air and looking for more points.
Well, with this game well in hand, it's an opportunity for the guys to come off the bench and get a chance to play. And a lot of coaches, they want to run their full playbook no matter who's on the field.
He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
He's been big. 2 touchdowns earlier. Now he's got a 1st down here.
There's a beautiful throw there, and he's been sensational the entire game, moving it around, spreading it, hitting the right guys. And look, under normal situations, partner, I would expect him to come out of the game now. They've got it in hand. But you and I have been around this league a long time, and every time we ask head coaches about it, hey, why don't you take your quarterback out when the game's in hand? They just kind of give us that look like that's what he's paid to do. So it's a very unusual situation. I'd want him out. They tend to leave him in.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10.
And Howell will throw it.
Looking for McLaurin, but this is intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, C.J. Mosley.
And the Jets are going to take over at their own 13-yard line.
That's now a 2nd interception in as many weeks from his linebacker position.
And think about all the different techniques he has to employ in a passing situation. Is he spot dropping because it's zone? Is he picking up man-to-man? Is he having to run with a running back or a tight end? In any event, great eyes, head on a swivel, and excellent.
And this turns into disaster. He's not going to get forward progress. That'll be a safety. Things are just going from bad to worse now. It's a safety that does him in here, and that is one frustrated offensive unit.
They can't get out from under their own shadow right now. I mean, I know this is the NFL, but could you imagine a college crowd right now? Imagine what they'd be doing. They'd be chanting, "Start the bus," because they think this one is over.
Out comes Washington's offense as they get set to take over here.
And after the interception, they are sitting in an even better spot with the ball and a comfortable fourth quarter lead. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. 59 yards rushing for him now to this point.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, they always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game.
A good gain on first has him set up with second and just a couple of inches now from the 29. They'll go again with Gibson. And nothing but green grass here, middle of the field. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. Well, Charles, they had the comfortable lead, and now it's even more comfortable. Another score here in the fourth quarter to grow that lead.
But I think your initial reaction is surprise when you see a team piling it on this late in the blowout. But there are plenty of coaches who also think that if you pull up completely and stop trying to play the game, it shows disrespect to their opponent. So they don't want to embarrass them. They continue to let their players go for it.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This one taken just inside the 10. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Now Wilson. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. Here's the Jets punter now, as he'll punt it away for the second time. And now a high kick here as they'll try to cover this one. That'll go as a punt of 34 yards that time. And it will be Washington football now with a 1st and 10. And the Washington offense heading out. And a few kneel downs should just about do it. Now, defensively, they do have all 3 timeouts, but very little reason to use them at this point. And he's corralled at the 40, but not before picking up 8. Well, they'll take that every time with a lead. 1st down, 4th quarter, getting 8 yards. You love that.
They will take it, and you have to ask the defensive guys, why did you give it? I mean, you know the situation. You're down, have to stop them, have to get the football back. But 8 yards on 1st down puts them back on their heels.
Robinson on a give right side. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a 1st down.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a 1st down. Keep the sticks moving.
Back to Robinson now on 1st down. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the 1st down run. He gets maybe 3. They'll run again here with Robinson. And he'll take it across midfield down into Jet territory. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6.
He had to fight for every yard on that run. Shook himself free of the tackle and kept fighting, even with the rest of the defense closing in on him. That's the kind of effort you'll take every single time.
And this defense going to bring out a couple extra DBs here on 3rd and a yard. Robinson will try to pick it up. And he's got the 1st before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. And now we're going to get a timeout. Somewhat pointlessly called with 3 seconds to go in a game that's already been decided. runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, it's Robinson. And a good push up front, and he's able to navigate his way down inside the 30. Well, partner, under the lights in primetime, this offense, they gave the nation quite a show, putting up that many points to come away with what will certainly be a memorable win for them.
And, Brandon, I think it's as simple as this. Some players, some teams, they're just meant for the big stage. And when they get a chance to play in this type of atmosphere, when all eyes are on them and all the lights are shining brightly, they show up and they show out.
So for the Commanders, they're on a nice early roll as they move to 3-1 with a win.
Hey, DJ Mosky, let's get it. We the champions here in Los Angeles. We doing numbers. Bring it home victory straight out the huddle. I'm at the plug, introduced to my brother. My squad superior, ain't none above us. We doing numbers. Gang in the building, we taking it over. Call the promoters. I just put up in this thing with my soldiers. I blew it and I'm still